Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your girl Maya K, and I'm just here to share my experience as far as being a semifinalist for America's Next Great Author. So, for those of you who don't know, I entered a writing competition for a reality show that is being pitched to Hollywood as America's Next Great Author. Submissions opened in August of this year of 2022, and the deadline was September 15th. So I submitted the first day pretty much. It was actually ironic. I think submissions opened the day or 2 days after my birthday, which was August 2nd. And so I submitted, forgot all about it, put my best foot forward. I knew that they were going to make the announcement for the semifinalists. They were picking up 100 semifinalists. And I knew they were going to make the announcement October 1st, which I thought was beautiful. Submissions opened the day after my birthday in August, and I got the notification for who the semifinalists were on my mother's birthday, October 1st. So very just divine type of confirmations. So I did get selected as a semifinalist, and we had to go to New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey this past weekend, October 30th, to film the pilot. And so there was 100 of us there. The judges were amazing. The judges were David and Ariel, who are both the creators of the show. They're a husband and wife couple, and Ariel is an agent, and both of them are authors. They have a lot of success in the industry, and they are known as the book doctors. And also there was Jason Reynolds, who is a phenomenal young adult and middle grade author, New York Times bestselling author. There was also Victoria Christopher Murray, and I believe her first name is Miss Margot. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, forgive me. I believe her last name is Vega, but she is a theater playwright, actress, and writer, and so she brought such great expertise. But Victoria Christopher Murray, for those of you who don't know, is a phenomenal best-selling author, New York Times, and I have read her since I was in middle school, and she writes adult Christian fiction. So I was reading her as a kid. And then Kwame Alexander, another young adult author, actually was the host. So we were there, we did our thing, and the thing was, they only picked 20 authors who would actually get to pitch out of the 100. They made it clear up front that not everybody was pitching, so just understand that you're spending your money at your own expense. But I'm saying that to say I was not selected as one of the 20. But the woman who won, Miss Joy Minor, I was honored to lose to her. I was definitely rooting for everybody black. I was rooting for everybody black. I'm just being honest. And she did amazing. She represented for her sisters, the black women so well, and just for writers, period. And so I was honored to lose to someone like her. So I was not selected as the 20. And I would just say overall, it was a great experience. One thing I had programmed into my mind before I got there was that me stepping into this room was no indication of something that I needed to know. Like, oh, you need to know you're a great writer, and this validates it. If nothing, this was just a confirmation to what God had already said to me. But I do want to share a couple of things that took place and why I just think this was a great opportunity. But one, I hadn't seen my mother in 2 years. We had such a ball hanging out in New Jersey. We went to New York for the day on Tuesday, November 1st. We went to see The Woman King. We had breakfast in Times Square, went to see The Woman King. We had such a great time. So I had already resolved in my mind that whichever way the wind blew, seeing my mom was everything. And I love allowing her to experience those moments with me because she's sewn into this dream. I'm 38 years old. My mother has sewn into this dream all my life. And then the Lord said something to me on the 31st. So the day after the filming, I'm not going to front. I cried really, really hard. And I think what happened was I cried hard because as writers, I've pitched MGM, I've pitched Hollywood and publishing, I pitched all over. But I think when you get rejected in your face, most of us, we get rejected via email, or they tell us, oh, okay, we're not interested. But when you get rejected in your face, I think that's what stings a little bit. But I cried and I was so shocked, but it felt so good to have Jason Reynolds and to have Victoria Christopher Murray just kind of affirm me and to encourage me. And with that, I want to tell you what the Lord dropped in my spirit. And then I'm going to show you a clip, because God will always create the moment that was for you, regardless of what happens in a specific room. And one of the things the Lord said to me, just to sum it up, it was he spoke to me so clearly during my quiet time on Monday morning, the 31st. And he said to me, your name was being called in another room while you were sitting in a room where your name was not called. And you have to trust me and know that I'm bringing all this together. And so I had an opportunity. It was around like 2:45 p.m. right before my mom and I were leaving to go check into our Airbnb. We were at the host hotel where, all the writers were, and we were leaving. And Victoria Christopher Murray was standing there. She had gotten out of the shuttle. They were wrapping up the second day of filming for the winter. And I took a chance. I kept hearing God say, pitch her, just tell her. And I did it. And my mom stood there and she got all of her feedback on camera. And it felt so good for this amazing author who I grew up admiring, who looks like me, say to me, wait, you didn't get chosen? Why? And, she was like, all right, you can pitch me, but I'm going to be honest. And I was like, okay. And then she was like, I can't find one thing wrong to say. And that just felt really good for her to say, why didn't you get picked? And then to also add that, she couldn't find anything wrong. But the proof is in the pudding. I want to share this with my subscribers so you can just see that God created a moment for me and I took my shot. And we only had 1 minute to pitch anyway. And so I made sure I did that thing in about 53 seconds. And I am just so grateful she gave me the opportunity. And I emailed her. I just emailed her just a few minutes before this video recording, sending her all of my information. And I don't know what's going to come of it, but I know God did that intentionally. So I just want to encourage you before I show you the clip, because once the clip is done, I will not come back. So you'll just see the clip. But just know that what's for you is for you. And when you step into a moment and you step into a room and your name isn't called in a room where you took God with you, it wasn't up to that room to give you your yes. God has a yes somewhere else, and he has your name circulating in other rooms. So be encouraged. For those of you who wanted to know how it went, there you have it. There's my feedback. I do not want to answer individual questions or personalized conversations because it's just too much. And it's a lot. Writers, we pour out a lot. And so hopefully this answers all your questions. Thank you to everyone who sold into me, who gave to me, who just made sure that I was fed and being able to spend time with my mom. When I say God funded this entire trip, I think I got over $1,000 just people sewing. Most of what we spent, it was from blessings. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys, and make sure you keep on writing.
The presentation pitch was perfect. The story is amazing, especially for young women. One of the things I look for when I'm listening to these pitches, which I don't like the pitches because we write. We don't pitch. We write. We don't pitch. Is that what are the stakes?
Yeah.
And you put all the stakes right in there, right up front. Don't give up on this book. How did it is written?
So I wrote 7 chapters. I had a critique partner, and so we were going back and forth. And then the first chapter I rewrote based off of her feedback because we had to submit 10 pages with the competition. But I write adult Christian romance, period. So I have a book coming out on the 7th. Like, I constantly write it. Yeah, with the young adult, I would have to do it on my own. My publisher doesn't do young adult. So, yeah, I'm not going to give up on the story. Because even the title, Empty Banks, her last name being Banks, because she feels empty because of the rape. I did that on purpose.
I don't know any young adult writers. But I'm going to, let's exchange information.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can